Pokemon market analysis is the name of the game, and today I'm going to show you how to do it for yourself. That's right, guys. Today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Pokemon market analysis and how to successfully do this for yourself. There's a lot of things that go on in analysis of the Pokemon market and how we come up with where it's at currently. And you can watch a channel such as myself. It's greatly appreciated. But to me, a lot of times it's better for some people that are really getting serious in Pokemon investing that they learn how to do it for themselves. That way they can become better at what they do, right? I mean, don't you want to become better at reading the market to understand why we are choosing products we are doing? At least you can follow along better. When you see multiple channels saying the same things over and over again, you understand why we're saying it, and you can pick out an analysis yourself and see where we might be seeing that information. And after you start seeing it for yourself, then hey, maybe you can start join a YouTube channel yourself and start putting out your own information for people to help them out on their journeys in Pokemon investing and in Pokemon collecting throughout the next few years. So first thing I'm going to talk about is difficulties. There's some difficulties that you will find when it comes down to Pokemon investing and Pokemon market analysis. And the number one thing that is always there that I can think of is knowing who and what to trust in the market. Now, there's a lot of sites and there are some things that you can do, but that's definitely one of the major issues you're going to run into when it comes down to Pokemon market analysis is knowing who to trust and where you get your information. You don't know what sites are reliable and what information is reliable, right? There's a lot of information out there, whether it's on YouTube, different sites. A lot of times just trying to understand that data is very difficult. Trying to put it into a quantifiable deal is very hard to do sometimes. That's where we talk about sometimes hearing someone actually piece it out, or at least you see the data and then you hear someone explain it, why they're going the direction based on that data, is sometimes helpful. Raw data is great, guys. There's a beautiful thing with raw data, but knowing how to analyze that data and be able to turn it into something usable sometimes is a little bit more of the trick than actually just getting the data. So today we're going to be talking about what are these things, how can you get through these difficulties, and some sources in which you can do that. So the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is when it comes down to knowing who to trust, do your research. A lot of times you can tell people with long histories of being in YouTube. There's also a great track record for people when you look at past what they've said. You can go back to several videos on some of these individuals, such as Twice Baked Jake, SM Pratt. You can go down to Pokenomics. You can go to Mason and Cardinal Gamings, and you can really look at what data they're giving and how successful they are doing it. And when I see people that have really successful points and their points really do pan out over time, especially over a year, sometimes this research to become comfortable with someone could take a year, guys. You need to be able to know that they're giving you an actual good quantifiable data point and that it's actually falling into place and that they're not just taking best guess stabs at information, because anybody can do that. I mean, my son can take a best guess stab at something and maybe get it right once in a while. You want consistency. They're never going to be 100% right. I'm not 100% right. I wish I was, or I'd be a millionaire by now. But in general, you want to see someone that's consistently right and maybe consistently giving you good information, and it fits your style of investment or collecting. There are some people that are very, very aggressive when it comes down to investing, and that their thought processes is everything's investable. It's just how much do I want to buy of that? And other people are, not everything's as good of an investment as others, and that it should take time to just see which products will pan out and just be patient. And there's two different styles realistically out there, and there's a variance in between. And of course, there's mixed bags of how people feel. So finding an information source that's really comfortable for you and your investment style, your collecting style, is going to be a very important thing. So like I said, Twice Baked Jake, Pokenomics, I mean, you can go down, even Rudy. I do like Rudy from Alpha Investments. I mean, he's wacky, but he has some really good information if you're able to piece it together, because sometimes he gets a little squirrely and off topic and comes back, but it's definitely there. And if you like that kind of excitement and really good talking, then yeah, you'll fit right into those kind of things. So that's the biggest thing is do your research on the people. None of us are hiding our research. Myself, I usually put it out on videos. You can get the information out there fairly easily on myself. Most of us have video evidence, or have discussion points of where you can see where it comes from. Next thing is finding reliable sites. Now, there's a lot of data sites out there that are in the actual internet. Let's just be honest. A lot of people put out data. A lot of people throw out numbers, but there are a few reliable sources that I personally use a lot that I have found very reliable over the last few years. Some of them are newer than other ones. Some of them are old. Pokebeach, PokeGuardian, great sources for information for what's happening in the Pokemon TCG. They usually get really good information on when reprints are coming, on the new sets. They get ahead of the Japanese releases. They'll even tell you names of sets as soon as Pokemon applies for the trademark. So there's some really good information there if you're trying to make decisions on whether or not you should be purchasing now, or is there another product or an item or a set that's going to be more successful in the future. Those are important things when you're trying to work in the Pokemon TCG, is understanding what set is going to be more successful and when to buy it. And Pokebeach and PokeGuardian give you some really good quantifiable information that'll tell you what's coming, what kind of cards you're looking at in those sets. And also, a lot of times in the comments and sections like that will lead to whether or not people are very interested in these sets, or if other people are just like, it is what it is. I'll get to it when I get to it. And that can give you a direction on whether or not you want to be focusing in on that, or maybe you should back off and just wait and see where that set goes and give it some time. So once again, those are two great sites for that. Another reliable sites that I use a lot for number data is going to be PokeData, PokePrice, PokeMarketCap, and of course, TCG Player and eBay. All of these have really good number data for yourself, and you can see different sales on each one of them. PokeData, of course, I love because you can keep track of now CGC, you can keep track of Japanese, you can keep track of PSA and all the different grading, the number of cards that there has been graded, so they've actually got a population chart in it, and you can actually track a lot of information on PokeData. I do a lot on PokeData, and I'm not just sitting here and saying that because I'm a rep for them or I'm getting any info from them or I'm getting any kickbacks. No, I just love their platform. They have a very good, well thought out and set up platform for a lot of data for you to be able to consume, digest, and be able to create your market analysis based on how certain products are doing in that site. And it just brings it all together. Of course, PokePrice is great because it shows you sales on eBay in a really good broke down form. You can see month by month and the total number of sales based on eBay. Once again, only downside to it is it's basically on eBay, but it gives you a really good antenna and a really good feeler for what's happening in that Pokemon market. So once again, Pokemon Price is great for that. Pokemon Market Cap gives you some great information, especially on the older sets and vintage, on where your market caps are. So if anybody knows anything about market caps, that is the amount of money you would need to purchase every single card in that hobby. And it gives you a really good feeler for how deep the well is for when it comes down to some of these products. And you can break it down either by the set. You can also break it down by hollows and those kind of things inside set. There's different ways you can tweak the data to be able to see what you're looking for if you're trying to get a good market analysis of what's happening there. Also, you can also trend these things so you can see, has the market cap increased or decreased over time. Especially on graded cards, you can see if potentially some of these cards are starting to move in the upward direction in a trend, or you can see if some are sinking and be able to watch them to see maybe they're going to sink and come back up. So there's definitely some great information to be able to see that market cap on all of the cards inside of a set. Last one, of course, I'm going to put together is going to be TCG Player and eBay, both of which are sales sites. So these are direct sales numbers. TCG Player to me does a better job because you can get that nice graph form that shows you all the sales kind of averaged out and gives you a quantifiable number right off the bat by placing your cursor on it. Tells you what the data was that day, and then you can move your cursor up to see the trend as things go move on, or a good visual representation on a graph of cards that have sold through TCG Player, and be able to see how they've been doing or trending in the last few months. You can even do 1 year, I believe, on there up to. eBay disadvantages, you can really look at the buy it now, as you can look at how many of the products are for sale just by doing a general search, but they don't really have a really good graph function, and it's only back to about 3 months. At 3 months, all the data is gone, so it's just, you can't go back, and then you're relying on a site like PokeData, PokePrice, or of course, other sites like that in order to be able to see what was done prior to those 3 months. So they're really good for spot checking right now. But eBay is very difficult when it comes down to total amount of data that you can really get out of there past 3 months. I mean, if it's 3 months or older, you're not going to get any information. So once again, the last thing you need to do when it comes down to it, now you got all this data. You got some good reliable data sources, some really good data channels, some analytic channels that are very good at putting these things together. How do you understand the market? How does it help you find out the market and how the market is doing? Well, basically, if you're sitting there looking at Poke Beach and Poke Guardian, you're going to start to try and extrapolate what sets are coming, what the time frame is for these releases, what kind of cards are in these sets, and then on top of it, look in the comments and see what maybe the hype is of these sets. It gives you the ability to maybe use like e-forums or go ahead and jump on some Discord groups and ask the questions. What do you guys think of this set upcoming from Japan? Is this a set that looks good? Is this something that is a decent set? Do you see yourself buying these things? An amazing thing is about the Pokemon community, we're all pretty open when it comes down to it. We are willing to share a lot of information, sometimes to a fault for ourselves. But we do like to help people, even myself. I love to help people. If you've got a question about a set and you wonder if it's doing well, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up anywhere. I am willing to talk. I have no problem doing that. And actually, my wife says I have a problem being quiet. So that's a great opportunity for me to be able just to type that and be able to concentrate on that and give her some peace. So if you do have some questions on set and you're trying to learn how to look at this data, let me know. Otherwise, Poke Data, Poke Price, and Poke Market Cap are very good to see trending and what's happening. See if there's a downward trend on some products. Maybe they are hot products that are just seeing a downward trend, so maybe you want to purchase in on those. Or you can be able to see, yeah, they're not doing so well, or they've peaked out and they're kind of falling. Let's stay away from those for a few years. Let's just keep an eye on them, and when they start to move in that upward direction, great time for you to purchase those things. So once again, that's time for you to be able to figure those things out and watch these trends and watch these numbers and watch that market cap to see, is that market cap in Pokemon increasing or is it decreasing? Are we seeing an expansion in the bubble or are we seeing a contraction in the bubble? And that can tell you how the market is in general. If we're seeing a heavy contraction, of course, that means the market's shrinking. We're not seeing as much moving and we're having lower sales when it comes down to some of the products. But if you're seeing an expansion, you're seeing that market cap increase, then that means people are still spending money and products are increasing in price. Things are going up, and that means that we are in a very successful market still, and it's a great piece of information to know as you're moving forward. Once again, guys, I just want to do a quick little recap of this. Once again, knowing these sources and being involved in these sources are very important. Understanding who to trust and where to get your information can be very valuable when it comes down to it. I never tell anybody to trust anybody 100% because we're all wrong. Sometimes we see a market one way and someone else will see it the exact opposite. Some people will say this product is going to be the best product on earth, and then someone like me will say, no, I would maybe back off of it because I'm seeing this, this, and this that isn't as good. Taking multiple sources, putting them together, and creating your own analysis of how that market's going to be or how that product will perform in Pokemon is just as valuable as anything else that you can do. So once again, using numbers, using these reliable sources, using Poke Beach and Poke Guardian to see upcoming reprints, upcoming sets, upcoming Pokemon news, new releases, set changeovers, new generation information. All this stuff is coming through, and wrapping it all together with being able to see the data and Poke Data, Poke Price, and Poke Market Caps are all valuable. And that's how you can actually take this data, put it together, and make it into something understandable. So once again, guys, hopefully this is some good information for you. Hopefully this helps you out. If you did make it this far into the video, as always, be sure you hit that subscribe, guys. We're just moving right along, and it's greatly appreciated. Also, hit that like button. We can get 100 likes on this. It's great to see these numbers just continue moving forward, and it's greatly appreciated from you guys. And last but not least, if you do like this kind of information and this kind of content, check out these two videos over here. I'll put them up for your information and education afterwards. And we will see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.